Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the last few lessons, we had taken a few masail in Kitab al-Tahara, and we had finished off with the chapter on tayammum. Inshallah, today we'll be taking a new chapter, and that is al-Masih ala al-Khuffayn, where it comes to al-Masih ala al-Khuffayn, where it comes to wiping over what's called the khuf. Now, when starting this chapter, we've got to realize and understand a few things. A khuf in those days was what a person would wear. Today they call it a leather sock. So it's a sock similar to a shoe. So you've got a shoe and then you've got a sock. It's very strong and you can walk through it. As for the normal socks that we wear today, that's called jawrab, or when you're speaking about two, jewel, al-jawrabain. So right now we're speaking about al-masih ala al-khuffayn, which is the leather socks, those strong socks. And then we'll speak about our normal socks. Inshallah, that will come either tomorrow or on Thursday. So that's the first thing we've got to understand and realize that. Also, if you look at the chapters that are coming now, you've taken what's the asl and the default ruling. What's the original ruling when it comes to wudu? You wash your face and then you wash your hands up to the elbows, you make masih, and you wash your feet. Now here they've, once tayammum started, they gave you what are called rukhas, or those things which if you're unable to do the original thing, then you default to tayammum, for example. Now here you're taking another mas'ala where, okay, you're not going to be washing your feet. What can you do instead? Okay, so if you look at it, all the masail which are original masail, which is the proper and full thing you've taken. Now they're giving you, we could say, some of the exceptions to the rules. An exception doesn't mean that it's a fringe opinion. No, not at all. Rather, there's evidence and this is also permissible. So when it comes to al-masah al-khuffayn, the first mas'ala that comes up, is it permissible to wipe over this type of sock or not? According to Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, it is permissible, and the evidence is in the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Some of the scholars also mention in the ayah of wudu, for those who read it with kasrah, famsahu biru'usikum, wa arjulikum, they read it with a kasrah. Okay, so that's number one. So is it permissible? Yes, it is permissible. Why do they mention that? Because there's others who are not from Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah who say that there's no such thing as al-masih ala al-khuffayn. Point number one, when are you allowed to wipe over the sock? If you've worn a leather sock, for example, can you wipe over it at any time or not, or when you're in any condition? The first is they say only if you're on hadath asghar, which is minor impurity. So if a person, let's say a woman is on hayd or a man is on janaba, if he wants to make ghusl, for example, and not wash his feet, he say, I'll wipe over my feet, then that's not allowed. Or if he wants to make wudu and he's on janaba and wipe over the feet, that's not allowed. So number one is you have to be on, you have to not be on hadath akbar, i.e. hadath al-asghar. That's point number one. Point number two is you have to have worn these socks on a complete wudu, wherein you washed your feet with water. Okay, that's why they say wudu tam. And when is this wudu? If you've broken your wudu, for example, at that moment your socks should have been on just before you broke it, and that was a complete wudu. So I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody wakes up for Fajr at 4 in the morning, okay? 4 a.m. After making wudu completely, they washed everything, including their feet, with water, and then they wore this khuf at 4 a.m. Okay? This is where he wore it. And 5 a.m. came, and let's say he's feeling hot. So he takes off his socks, bearing in mind that he hasn't broken his wudu. And then he wants to go to work. 6 a.m. comes. He's still on wudu. He's still on wudu from this time. He's still got wudu. 6 a.m. comes, he wears the sock. Okay. And then, let's say, for example, just before 7 a.m. or at 7 a.m., he goes somewhere and he needs to take off his shoe. Okay, why I'm giving you this whole story is because there's all masail in here. Let's say 7 a.m. he took off his sock. Okay. If he took off his sock and he broke his wudu, he can't wear the sock and wipe again. Why? Because he's broken his wudu not having worn the sock. Now, let's say 7 a.m. came and he didn't take off the sock and he broke his wudu. Then, the next time he wants to make wudu, okay? So let's say, for example, now at 12 noon, time of Dhuhr, okay? So here he had wudu with his socks. He broke his wudu here at 7 a.m. with his socks on. Now 12 noon comes and he wants to make wudu. And he asks you, am I allowed to wipe over my khuf or not? You tell him you allowed. Why? Because he wore this khuf on full wudu, and when he broke his wudu, that sock was still on. The question then arises, how long is he allowed to wipe over the sock? So they tell you, as for a muqim, somebody who is a resident, yawmun wa layla. Yawmun wa layla is 1 day and 1 night, which is 24 hours. Okay. And as for somebody who's traveling, 3 days and 3 nights. ثلاثة أيام بلياليها. It's 24, 48, 72 hours. Okay. Now, the question then arises, if this person tells you, I made wudu at 4 a.m., okay, this is where he made wudu. He broke his wudu at 7 a.m. That's where he broke his wudu. And he made his new wudu at 12 noon. It tells you, when does my 24 hours start? Does it start from the time I made wudu? Or does it start from the time I broke my wudu? Or does it start from the time I first wiped over my sock? You understood the question? When does this 24 hours, or if he's traveling, when does this 72 hours start? Does it start from the time he made wudu at Fajr in the morning, or the time he broke his wudu, or the time he made his new wudu and wiped the first time? According to the Hanafi madhab, his time starts here, the time he broke his wudu. Okay? So if he's a resident, you tell him you broke your wudu at 7 a.m. As long as your sock is on and you don't take it off every time you're making wudu for the next 24 hours, and you're not on Hadath Akbar, it's only Hadath Asghar, for the next 24 hours, so up to 7 a.m. the next day, anytime you're making wudu and you don't want to wash your feet, you can wipe over that sock. Did you understand? So it starts from when he broke his wudu. This is according to the Hanafi madhab. They say waqtul hadath, the time where he broke his wudu. And then they tell you, okay, a person wants to wipe over his sock. How does he wipe over the sock? They say as-sifa. After having wiped over the head, meaning mass of the head, he takes his hands, okay? You just have a wet hand. And as for the right hand, you put your fingers like this, and let's say this is your foot. You start from your toes. So let's say these are the toes. So you take this, let's say this is my foot and this is my hand. I come and I pass it over like this towards the shin. Okay. So you go like this towards the shin. So if you take the right hand, you wipe the right leg like this, and you take the left hand and you wipe over the left leg, meaning the left foot, not the left leg, the left foot. Do you have to wipe underneath your foot or behind your foot? No, it's only what's on the top here. Why? That's how the hadith is. A person might say, no, if I'm walking, the thing that's going to get dirty the most is the bottom of my foot, so why don't I wipe? The hadith told us you wipe from the top like that, from the toes towards the shin. If a person had to do it the other way, for example, it goes from the shin going down, it's also permissible. But they say better is from the toes towards the shin. Then there's one more mas'ala, and then tomorrow, inshallah, we'll take those things that nullify this wudu. One more mas'ala they tell you is, what if a person has holes in the leather sock? Today we're talking about khuf. We're not talking about normal socks that we wear. They tell you as long as the holes are small, and they define small as not exceeding more than 3 toes. So if you take your smallest toe, for example, let's say this is your toe. Okay, let's say this is my toe. And if you have a hole which is equivalent to just one of these, then it's okay on your sock. You can still make two of these, no problem. Three or more you can't make. So if it's 2.5, 2 3/4, you can still make over that. And it does happen where, let's say, a person is traveling, for example, or they've used their socks for a long time, and after wear and tear, you find a small hole. Going to the Hanafi madhab, as long as it hasn't passed 3 toes, then you can wipe over it. So again, to quickly recap, I said here we're talking about al-khuf, that which is made of leather, what today we term as a leather sock. You see people wearing them today. First condition for a person to be able to wipe over it, it's not for hadath akbar, it's only for a person who's on hadath asghar. And number 2, they should have worn the sock having made complete wudu, wherein they washed their feet. Okay. After that, a person who's a resident, they allowed to wipe for 1 day and 1 night, 24 hours. A person is traveling 3 days and 3 nights, 72 hours. Then a person might ask you, okay, when does my 24 hours start, or when do my 72 hours start? You tell them, according to the Hanafi madhab, from the time you broke your wudu. It's not the time you made your wudu, or not the time you wiped over your sock first, no. From the time you broke your wudu. How does a person wipe? Simply he just takes his wet hand and wipes over it. Any questions? And then we still, for those coming late, we're still going to get to socks. Are you allowed to wipe over normal socks, our cotton socks that we have? Also, one more thing to mention is that, let's say today you've got what's similar to a sock, or let's say a leather sock, but it's not covering the ankle. Okay, remember, when you wash your foot, you wash from the toes up to and including the ankle. Sometimes you get these ankle socks, you get them in cotton also, where it's below the ankle, just doubtfully on the ankle. Here we'll say you can't wipe over that. Let's say it's leather for today. Let's say a person has leather, but it's just below the ankle. We tell him you can't wipe over that. And inshallah, you'll still take masail, as I told you, to do with cotton socks. And what if a person, for example, he made wudu here, for dhuhr and wiped over his sock, and then before Asr he takes off his sock. Is he allowed to put it back on and wipe, or does he have to make a full wudu again and then wear the sock? Also, what if a person wears one sock on top of the other? So especially in those places where it's cold, people wear their socks double or triple. Which sock do you wipe over? Do you wipe over the top one, or do you wipe over the one closest to your foot? and few other masail like that, inshallah. Any questions? Yes, so if one made wudu, then right after they wore the khuf, then when it breaks, that's when the 24 hours of the khuf start. Yes, correct. So when the person breaks their wudu, that's when the 24 hours start. Any question? Alam Ghair?
Sheikh, the whole four fingers should be like touching the part from toe to shin.
Four fingers meaning?
Like if we are like you mentioned all the four fingers should be touching the.
Some say you can get away with 3, but if you use your fingers, the 4, then you just take them and put it. Remember, you're not washing your sock, you're wiping over your sock. And a person might say, okay, why are you allowed to wipe over your sock? Some say because of difficulty and hardship. Others say it's just rukhsah, something that was given to this ummah. And built upon that, you'll find that anybody who wears something similar to that, so especially people in the army, if they have those big boots and you can't take them off, you find a lot of them will just wipe over that boot, as long as the boot, we'll say, as long as the boot is covering the ankle. Understood?
Yes, Sheikh.
Any question? No question. Saeed?
No question, Sheikh. Yeah, my phone, it was acting kind of weird, so I had to restart my phone and stuff. So I have to rewatch the lesson. So
Alam Ghair, can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Let's say this person here, he wants to make wudu now at Dhuhr, and he asks you, is it better for me to take off my sock, or is it better for me to wipe over my sock? His khuf.
Depends, if it's possible to take off the khuf, if the person has time and convenience, then it's better to take off the khuf and perform the whole wudu.
Saeed?
yeah, I would say the same as Sheikh Alamgir.
So according to the different schools of thought, it depends how you look at wiping this over the sock. Okay? And how you look at what's called rukhsa and what's called azima. Rukhsa is where something has been made lighter or easier for us. So for example, when you're traveling, instead of 4 units of prayer, you read 2 of Dhuhr, Asr, Isha. So is it better for a person when he's traveling to read Dhuhr as 2 or to read Dhuhr as 4? If he reads it as 4, he's taken bil azima. However, he's left something which is better. That's why one of the hadith, it says that Allah loves, the Messenger says that Allah loves to give you these types of rukhas, where it's been made easier for you, so take them. Okay, so it's encouraged for a person to take them. So similarly, you'll find that those who look at it from this angle, they'll tell you that you're wearing it and you've got a rukhsa, then it's better for you to wipe over it. And there's others who tell you that it's better to wash your feet fully. So if you want to take it off, or they'll tell you it could be better for you to take off that leather sock, depending on how you look at it. Has anybody seen these leather socks that we're talking about, or no? People who is similar to them these days.
Yes, Sheikh.
We don't actually have them here, but I've only seen the Arabic people wearing them.
You find normally the Arabs and people who are not Hanafis, they wipe over any socks.
Sheikh, I see people from Jamaat doing it, the elder people.
They wipe over a leather sock.
Leather socks, yes.
Yeah. As for wiping over any sock, you won't find strict people from the Hanafi madhab wiping over it. And we'll go over that masala. It comes in Hidayah, Hanafi book, he mentions it, and he mentions difference of opinion. And he also mentions, besides difference of opinion, he mentions what would be correct if you said it's allowed. So inshallah, you take that. I want to move on to Arabic, inshallah. You guys revise or you didn't revise?
A little bit, yes. I was also kind of busy.
Right, al-wahdatul khamis. So we stopped on the 5th module. So I want to ask you the first module. Who's here? Saeed Ibrahim. Let me ask you. كيف حالك يا إبراهيم؟
بخير والحمد لله. وكيف حالك أنت؟
بخير والحمد لله. أين تسكن؟
أسكن في البيت.
تسكن في بيت. طيب. ما جنسيتك؟
أنا من أنا أمريكي.
أحسنت. سعيد، هل أنت من تركيا؟
لا
سعيد.
أنا
سعيد.
أوكي.
لا أنا من هولندا.
أحسنت. I think that the first module is quite straightforward. I'm going to ask you and tell me that this is, if it's a man, say it's a man, and if it's a woman, say it's a woman. How can I? Aisha, man هذا? Aisha. Not with us. Say, this is my father. He is a doctor, for example. Are you with us?
Yes, I am there, but wait, I am having.
Okay, we'll ask someone else and we'll come back to you. Sayyida man hada?
والدي هذا والدي هو طبيب.
And say, this is my mother and she is a teacher. Man هذه?
هذا والدة.
هذه.
هذه والدة هي مدرسة.
Yep, Sayyida, say, this is my brother and he's a student. Man هذا?
هذا أخي هو طالب.
And say, this is my sister. She is an engineer. Man هذه?
هذه أختي هي مهندسة.
مهندسة. Well done. Basically, so that was the first module. So at least you know the first module. Inshallah, tomorrow I'm going to ask you on module 2. And I want to start module 5 today, inshallah. So tomorrow I'm going to ask you module 2 only. Please go over it. الوحدة الخامسة, 5th module. Here they're speaking about الطعام والشراب, food and drink. Right, who's going to read? Saeed, you can be Qasim. Ibrahim, you can be Salim. Read and translate. Said.
أين تذهب يا what the curse was on there. Salimu.
Salimu. Translate.
Meaning? I wouldn't know.
أين, which means where. تذهب, going. Ya means oh. Salim, saying, where are you going, oh Salim?
Oh, okay.
Ibrahim.
إلى المطعم أطعمي to the restaurant.
كم وجبة؟
كم
وجبة.
وجبة.
وجبة. كم وجبة؟
وجبة. وجبة. كم وجبة.
Oh, wedge. Yeah, wedge. وجبة. كم وجبة؟ أكل في يومي.
في اليوم. It's a fatha on that, yeah.
اليوم. في اليوم.
كم means how many.
How?
Yeah, how
Yeah.
many. وجبة is a meal. تأكل, you eat. في اليوم, in the day. So it's asking him, how many meals do you eat in the day?
Okay.
أكل 3 وجبات الفطور والغداء والعشاء. I eat 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Said.
هذا كثير جدعا.
هذا كثير جدا.
وهذا كثير جدا. أنا أكل وجدة
وجبة. وجبة.
واحدة.
This is a lot.
This is a lot. أنا أكل وجبة واحدة.
I eat one
Don't
meal.
know. Oh,
I
eat one.
هذا قليل جدا. This is very small.
The next one, read Sayyida.
وماذا تأكل في الغداء and what do you eat in lunch at lunch?
Ula. Do you want to read? Aisha, read.
أقول الرز والخبز. وماذا تقول أنت?
Meaning? Akulu, which means I eat. Al-aruzza is rice. Al-khubza is bread. And the question is, وَمَاذا, and what تأكل do you eat? Meaning تأكل أنت. What do you eat? Carry on.
I eat rice, bread. وما تقول أنت, and what did you eat?
Say that.
أكل السمك والسلطة والفاكهة. I eat fish and this one is?
Salata is salad.
Salad and fruits.
ما وزنك?
This means what is your weight?
70 كيلا. وماذا وزنك أنت؟
Not 70 kilo. 60 kilo.
60.
60. That's a 6 in Arabic. It looks like a 7 in English.
All right.
Sittuna kila, which means 60 kilos. وما وزنك أنت, which means, and what is your weight?
This is 100.
Yes, 100 is mi'ah. Mi'atu kilin, which means 100 kgs.
Colin 100.
Mi'atu kilin. Carry on, Sayyida.
أنت سمين جدا. You are, I mean, fat.
Yeah,
or
Samin means very. So here they're trying to teach you the different words. So Saminun jiddan, one is telling the other that you are very fat, and the other says wa anta nahifun jiddan, you are very thin, as you can see from the picture. Okay, and here they give you the vocabulary. Who's here to read? Ibrahim, read the first line.
فاكهة فاهكة
No, not
fruits.
fahikatun. Fakihatun.
فاكهة fruits. رز rice. سمك سمك fish.
Carry on.
خبز bread. And يأكلون
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool.
he
It's a
eats.
verb to eat. Yeah, he's eating. Ahsan. Saeed, next line.
مطعم. I don't know what that is, but
Restaurant.
a restaurant. مطعم. عشاء. That would mean dish or something. Dish.
No, Asha is dinner. So it's the same time as Salatul Isha, roughly. So Asha, dinner.
Dinner.
Ghada, lunch.
Lunch. Okay.
And Fatur,
Fatur. That would be
breakfast.
breakfast. Okay.
And then
Wajabat. Wajabat.
Wajabat, meals.
Wajabat. Meal or
It's meals in plural. And wajbah, it means one meal.
Or the wajba and wajabat. Okay. And yeah,
Okay, so
wajbat. Okay, yeah.
Sayyida, last line. Sayyida.
وزن weight. قليل less, or I mean
Little, yeah, less or little.
little.
Yes.
كثير more.
Or a lot.
Or lot, yeah.
Mi'atu
مئة
kilin.
100 kg. 100 kg. سمين fat. نحيف 10.
Well, inshallah, tomorrow I'll ask you guys these questions and we'll carry on. And I'm going to ask you from module 2, inshallah. From what I remember, we had started with Nahu and Arabic grammar. Do you guys still remember? You forgot what we took. Alam Gheer?
Sheikh, yes, I remember we have
Right.
done the.
Quickly, within 3 minutes, give me a breakdown of what we took.
Okay.
Everything from
first of
lesson 1 up to where we reached.
So, first of all, we have learned about the.
From your memory without looking.
Okay. So a word has a word can be ism, fail, and harf.
Either ism or fi'l or harf. It can either be a noun or a verb, or anything that's not a noun or a verb will be called a harf. Next.
Yeah. And then we did afterwards the i'rab, and the i'rab is 4 types of i'rab. Marfu.
So hold on, before you get to 4 types. Here we said in Nahu and grammar, you're looking at the last part of the word. Is it going to be Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin? What's it going to be? Like that. Right. So it could be, i'rab could be one of how many things?
Marfu.
Yeah,
which
it could
is
be one of how many? 4.
Yeah, one of 4. Marfu. Yeah, which is Dhamma, Mansub.
No, Marfu is not Dhamma. For now, it's called Marfu. Okay?
Oh, yeah, Marfu, yeah. Marfu,
Marfu.
Mansub,
Yeah.
Majroor, and Mansum.
Yeah. Right. And we started with Marfu. How did we explain these? We said this is like a category or a team. And you find that this category or team has a main character, a main player, and then you have substitutes who come in its place, because at times the main character is unable to be there always. So we said when it comes to Marfu, main character here is what?
Dhamma.
Dhamma. And we said Dhamma will come on how many different conditions or how many different places?
There are a few conditions. We have gone through 3, for
I
example.
won't say conditions. I would rather say meaning different places or on different words. Okay, right. When are you going to say Dhamma? Tell us first one.
في الاسم المفرد.
Right. What's Ismul Mufrad?
For example, قلم.
No. What's Ismul Mufrad?
Singular. Yeah.
Noun.
Single noun. Yeah.
Right. Example. Qalamun.
قلم
So
Muslim.
qalamun is marfu. Why is it marfu? Because it has a dhamma. And why does it have this dhamma? Because it's ism mufrad. That's how ism mufrad will be marfu. Right. Number 1, ism mufrad. Then after that, what did we take?
We did. The second one was وجمع التكثير.
Taksir with a sin.
Sin. Yeah. وجمع التكثير. Yeah. For example, when you say you say
What's jam'? Jam' is plural, and
Plural,
taksir.
the taksir is actually it a kind of like a disconnects, like qalamun aqlamun.
Taksir, as I told you, is that when you've got plural, there's a few ways to make plural. First is you don't break the original singular structure. So muslimun, to make it a plural, you just add waw and nun. So here it's salim, it's safe, it's healthy, you haven't broken anything. As for taksir, you have to break that singular structure. So qalamun, by saying aqlamun, you've broken it by putting an extra alif at the beginning. So that's jam', plural. What type of plural? Taksir. Jam' taksir will be marfu'. How? With a dhamma. So aqlamun. أقلام مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Right, next. After جمع التكسير.
وجمع المؤنث سالم. وجمع المؤنث سالم.
Right, jam plural, mu'annath feminine. Salim means is the opposite of taksir. It
Yeah,
isn't
it is
broken.
connected like طالب طالبات.
No,
طالب طالبات
no,
طالب طالب.
not talibun. Talibun is masculine.
No,
Give
I'm
me a
saying
feminine word.
I'm saying that, for example, the plural is طالبات.
The
So
plural of what is talibatun?
طالب.
No.
طالب is singular.
Talib is masculine singular. Talibun becomes tullabun. That's
Oh, yeah,
masculine.
yeah.
Here we're talking about mu'annath.
Yeah.
Masculine, talibun. Feminine, singular. Talibatun.
طالبات,
Masculine, hold on. Masculine, muslimun. Feminine, muslimatun. And then how do you make it plural? If it's the word is feminine, you take out that round ta from muslimatun. You take it out and you add alif and a normal ta. It becomes muslimatun. Okay. الجمع المؤنث السالمي. And then the fourth one, or we didn't take the fourth one.
We did till this one, yeah.
Right. Fourth one. Today I'll give you this fourth one. It says al-fi'l. Fi'l is what? A verb. It says so every word here means something. Al-fi'l. So not talking about ism. What type of verb? Al-mudari'. Mudari'. So here when it comes to fi'l, let me explain to you quickly before we get there. We took nouns, okay? Then you take a verb. Here's a verb, okay? Now, logically, a verb can either be in the past tense, or it can be in Arabic present and the future tense. You use the same thing, or it can be an order to do something. So when you tell somebody, do this, that's also a type of a verb. Okay, so it's going to be an order. That's called amr. So they're telling you this here, past tense is called madi. Madi, past already. Okay. Present tense or future tense is called mudari'. Write this down if you forget. Mudari'. And when you're giving somebody an order, it's called amr. It's ordering him to do something. So here they're saying if this verb is al-fi'l al-mudari', okay, so this eliminates the past tense. So we're not talking about this right now. And eliminates when you're giving somebody an order. We're not talking about that now. We're talking about this. Now, this fi'l al-mudari', as you've in the Al-Arabiyyah Bayna Yadayk, you've been taking all these verbs. It's just you haven't yet classified them. So let me teach you. If you're addressing somebody, you're saying somebody is doing something logically, that person is either in front of you, or they're absent from you, or you're speaking about yourself. Okay? So again, break it down. Either the person is in front of you. Okay, it's called mutakallim. Okay. And here you've got, there's masculine and feminine. So when you were saying, for example, yadhabu, ya'kulu, you're talking about somebody who did something. They're not in front of you. Okay. So here, let's start with the first one. What they call a ghaib. Ghaib is somebody who's absent. All right. This ghaib could either be masculine or feminine. And from the masculine, it could be one person, it could be two people, or it could be three or more people. Same here. Could be one person, two people, three or more people. Or it could be somebody who's in front of you, hadir. And again, is either feminine or masculine. And again, it's either one person, two people, or three or more. Same here, 1, 2, 3 or more. Or it could be mutakallim, the one speaking. And this, when the person speaking is saying, I did this, masculine and feminine will use the same, and you're only going to be speaking about one person who's saying, I am doing this, or you're going to be speaking about us as a group to say, we did this, whether we male or female. So I'm just going to put there we. So if you look at it, why am I telling you this? If you take a verb in Arabic, okay, one word, one verb, for example, daraba. Daraba is to hit. How many different verbs for different people can you take out of it? You can either, you can count all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay? So from this word, in Arabic, you have what's called a root word. A root word has a meaning. From that root word, you can take a noun, you can take a verb. So here we're talking about verbs. How many different verbs can you take out of here? You can take out 14 different verbs. Why? Because if you break it down logically, you're either speaking about a man or a woman who's absent, and you're speaking about somebody singular, dual or plural. And here feminine is speaking about singular, dual, and plural. And in front of you is speaking about singular, dual, and plural. Away from you speaking about singular, meaning feminine. In front of you, singular, dual, and plural. A speaker is speaking about I and we. Okay? It's possible for you to make 14 different, what they call tasrif. Now, I'm going to make it easy for you. It's not the most correct way, but it's the way that most people use it, or most people, when speaking, they say today. So, for example, when it comes to jewel, when it comes to speaking about two people only, a lot of the times they don't use it. So let's ignore this. So from 14, we've gone down to how many? 10. Okay. Because in Arabic, there's a difference of opinion as to what is plural. Do you consider when you say one person, one teacher came, if you say two teachers came, okay, one opinion say plural is two and more, and another opinion says no, plural is three and more. So if you're going according to this opinion, you would say jewel has its own special category. Here we're going to take out this category to make it easy. So you started off with 14 different af'al you had to remember. Now we're going down to 10. Okay, let's make it even easier. Okay, when it comes to plural, again, it's not the most correct, but people use it. When it comes to plural, you can use the masculine form for the feminine and get away with it. Okay, so if we cancel this also, this feminine one, cancel it. So for example, if you say they went, which means dhahabu, okay, you learn how to make from the word dhahaba. How do you get all these? If you say they went, that can include masculine, can include feminine, and sometimes people also use it for feminine. And for now, to make it easy for you, I'm going to tell you to use it. Also, when it comes to the person in front of you, if you take out this one, so how many are you left with now? 8. So we've gotten rid of roughly half. Okay, half. So what do you need to know? You need to know person who's absent, masculine and feminine, and just one plural. Person who's in front of you, masculine and feminine, and one plural. And you need to know how to say I did it and we did it. Okay, now here, this applies to when you're speaking about the past tense. It applies to when you're speaking about the future tense, and it applies to when you're speaking about giving an order. Now, if you notice, when we started from here, speaking about this verb, this whole science is not in Nahu. It's not in grammar, how to make the whole structure of the word. Nahu, we only worried about Dhamma, Fatha, and Kasra, or Marfu, Mansub, Majrur, and Majzum. We only worried about that in Nahu. So all this comes in Sarf, but it will go hand in hand here so you can learn. So I'm going to start you off with that today, and then we're going to get to this condition. So what's a word you've taken? For example, let's start off with the past tense, okay? Start off with the past tense. A word in the past, for example, dhahaba. You all know what's dhahaba? Dhahaba. Saeed, what's the meaning? Saeed. Dhahaba. What's the meaning?
Going?
No, dhahaba means he went. Remember when I was telling you to
Or
translate
like
properly?
that, yeah, okay.
Right.
He went. Yeah.
Right. So here, what can we say? We can either say he went, she went, or plural, they went. Or someone's in front of you, say you went, masculine, you went, feminine, or you went as a group, and say I went and we went. Okay? So how do you start? Let's start with this one. For masculine, original, dhahaba. Okay? You all understood here. And they told you if you want to speak for a woman, feminine, add a ta. So it becomes dhahabat. So what did you do here? You just added a ta. Okay, so here we okay. Here we okay. Now plural, this is you're going to have to learn. How do you make plural here? You take this original form. So this is, everything is built on this original form. Okay. So you take the original form, which is the, ha, and ba. and you add an extra waw and an alif. So it becomes ذهبوا. ذهبوا. So this is something new. So when you say they hit, for example, ضربوا, they ate, أكلوا. You understand? All from here. One person did it, he ate أكل. If you want to say she, just add this ta plus ta. So you say أكلت. They ate أكلوا. It's very easy. Once you know the pattern, you can put on any word. So this is all I need you to know from this one here. Okay. Then those who are in front of you. Do you remember when you told someone ذهبت, which means you went? So you look, you took the ha, the ba, and you added a ta with a fatha, referring to you masculine. ذهبت, you went. And what about you feminine? Again, you take the original form when it's masculine, take the, ha, and ba, and you add a ta with a kasra. ذهبتي. Okay. And plural, again, you take this original form, the, and ba. Okay. And you add a ta and a mim. ذهبتم, أكلتم, ضربتم, أقمتم. To any word, as you just have to, all you have to learn is you have to learn the extensions. Some of them you've already taken, for example, ذهب and ذهبت, ذهبت and ذهبتي. Here, this is new to you. And this is new to you. Okay. And if you say I did it, okay, again, take the original form, ذهب, and you add a ta with a dhamma. Okay. ذهبت, I went, whether it's masculine or feminine. And when you're speaking about we went, you say ذهبنا. You add a noon with an alif. So again, I'm going to make it very easy for you. Very easy for you. Look at how many times you're adding a ta. On 4 occasions. If it's feminine, you're adding a ta, but you're putting a sukun, ذهبت. You, masculine, you're adding a ta, but you're putting a fatha, ذهبت. You, feminine, you're adding a ta, but you're putting a kasra, ذهبتي. I, you're adding a ta, but you're putting a dhamma, ذهبت. You just have to learn. This is new for you. ذهبنا and ذهبتم and ذهبوا. And this is with any verb. You can do it roughly the same throughout. Roughly the same throughout. So for example, if I give you the word akala, which means he ate, you should be, as long as you've learned this, you should be able to bring everything correctly. So akala, if we go through it, she ate akalat. They ate akalu. You ate akalta. You ate feminine akalti. You all ate akaltum. I ate akaltu. We ate akalna. Understand? Sami'a, to hear. Okay, Sami'a, he heard. Sami'at, she heard. Sami'u. Notice how we, as long as you got this masculine singular, ghaib, as long as you got this one, you can build off it. So Sami'a, Sami'at, Sami'u, Sami'ta, Sami'ti, Sami'tum, Sami'tu, Sami'na. Okay? This, I gave you the tasrif of the past tense. I'm actually going to give you homework. I'm going to give you a few words. And I want you to bring the tasrif like this. Only these 8. And from these 8, you already know This one, this one, this one, this one. So that becomes 8 minus 4. That's 4. And then if you minus this one, you know it already. It's 3. So there's only 3 new tasrifs to learn. 3 new ways of saying it. So let me give you some words now and now. The word qara'a, okay, which means he read. Write it down. And tomorrow I'm going to ask you. Qara'a. So I want you to be able to say he read, she read, you read, feminine, and the plurals for them, as well as I read and we read. Okay. Also, akala. Okay. From akala. Bring out. You should be able to, and don't copy each other. Should be able to bring out these 8. Okay. Akala. And then sami'a, which means he heard. Okay. I want you to bring those out. Then another word.
Daraba.
ضرب, you know. Masaha, to wipe, meaning he wiped. Masaha. Okay. And then nasara, to help. Nun, sad, and ra. Nasara. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll give you one more. Qala. Okay. Qala, to say. He said. Tomorrow, inshallah, this is part of sarf. So in order for us to understand this whole part, we need to go through a few steps. So here, you probably on Friday, you'll still get to this mas'ala, because we still need to be able to understand this, and we need to understand mudari', amr. I might give you, I might not. We might leave it, but at least for the next 2 days. So what I want you to do is to take that. If somebody ever tells you it's not grammatically correct because you're not saying jewel, it's acceptable. What I taught you and how I taught you to say it, it's acceptable. Just so you're not confused and you're able to speak. The minute or when you master this, then inshallah I'll give you the whole 14. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah. On this.
Yeah. So, for the feminine, when you're speaking behind someone, you say it goes from dhahaba for the men, and then dhahabat for the female.
Yes. ذهبت, أكلت, ضربت, سمعت, قالت, مسحت, ثبتت, نصحت. So it's very easy if you just remember it like this. Look, for those people who are ghaib or absent, I put an A here. Okay, ghaib meaning those who are not in front of you. All you need is the first word. So let me give you, for example, daraba. Okay, daraba. This is masculine and it's singular. For feminine, take the same daraba, okay, and just add a ta with a sukun. It will become darabat. And if you want the plural for these two, you say, instead of saying he went, she went, how do you say more than one person? You say they went. Okay, take the same word daraba. Now, remember, once you get it once right, because sometimes the fatha and kasra change here. So here, you're going to add a waw and a alif. Now, you can't say darabawu. No. So here, this ba, instead of a fatha, is going to have a dhamma. Why? For this waw. So you can say darabu, akalu, sami'u, etc. But notice how you just add that, right? So that we've already finished those who are absent. Then you got those who are in front of you. Again, take the same structure. However, on this last letter, you're going to put a sukoon from the original structure, and you're going to add, for masculine, you're going to add a ta with a fatha. You're going to say darabta. And here you're going to take the same structure. You're going to have a sukoon, and you're going to add ta with a kasra. Say darabti. And here you're going to take the same structure. You're going to have a sukoon on the ba, and you're going to add tum, darabtum. Okay, tum with a dhamma on the ta. So then those were the people in front of you. Done. And then when you speak about I and we, again, you're going to take the same structure. Same structure meaning the letter ba, dod, the letter ra, the letter ba. And here you're going to have a sukoon. Why are you going to have a sukoon? Because the next word here is going to have a haraka. Understand? Darabtu. Okay? So you're adding a ta with a dhamma. Here you can take the same structure. You're going to have a sukoon on the ba. And you're going to add a noon with an alif. Say darabna. Understood? So on these ones which are not in front of you, absent, as is daraba, darabat. And then here is the first one, you change this to a dhamma, darabu. And then these ones you all just change this last letter to a sukoon. Darab, then it's either ta, ti, tum, tu, or na. Very easy. Once you're able to do it with a few, it will be very easy. And as you're reading in your book, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to now pick up. When say she did, she said, I said, we said, they said, you said, etc. Did you understand?
Na'am.
Ahsant. Inshallah, we'll stop here. Today we won't have any reading. Inshallah, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, make sure you write these out. And then, after that, we'll move on to mudari'. So same principle. Mudari' is speaking about the present tense or the future tense. So here, if someone says daraba, which means he hits, what if you say he is hitting, or he will hit, or he is coming, or he will come? They'll tell you, or they'll give you that, inshallah.